Hi boys and girls. So today what we're going to work on is we are going to be working on how to make a steaming mug of hot cocoa. So you can see here that I made this one as a collage, and so you could make this as a collage too. What I did was I took a piece of green paper, I cut a strip like this, about the size I wanted my mug to be. And I saw that would probably make a little tab at the end like this. And that would be one side, but it looked too big. So I trimmed a little bit off. You can use that for my handle. And I made a little tab here, kind of like when we made our paper sculpture. And then, let's take a peek. I made my mug pop out, so it was 3D. And now to make the handle, it was like I cut out that big letter C that we're so good with. It's kind of that curvy line. I made it curvy, and then I cut out another little C in there so somebody would be able to hold it. And there we have our steaming mug of hot cocoa. And now you could do it as a collage. You can see in mine, I took some cotton ball and I pulled it apart. And I added it up top to look like it was steaming, so it was coming right out of the mug, like that. So you could try that if you want, but I know not everybody has colored paper, so that's one way. And I definitely love patterns again, stripes, some hearts, and that made my delicious mug of cocoa, or tea, or coffee. So that was one way, but I'm going to show you how just to draw it. And we're going to use the same idea, but we're going to think a little bit harder about how we want it to look. All right, so let's imagine we have a square. Here we go. Here we go. And now we know it's not flat. We know it's curved. So that curvy line that we used before, little bit of curve, not a big curve, a little bit of a curve. Boop. And I'm going to do that same curve here because I know it's rounded. It's kind of a cylinder. And then I'm going to see into the top of the mug. Into the top of the mug. So one line curve this way, one line curve that way. And I could make steam coming out of it like this by drawing it. I could add little mini marshmallows. I could add a handle. Now I could probably get really fancy with my handle. Oh, kind of like a C, but a little bit out of an angle. Then I'm going to put it on a table. Put it on a table. And I'm going to think, what do I want the decorations to be? So maybe I'll start with stripes. A little bit of a curve, a little bit of a curve. Maybe I'll make lines coming down. And they repeat. I remember doing one of my scarves this way. Maybe in here I'm going to make, I don't know, diagonal lines. Lines that go side like this. Maybe I'll do that, but I'll go in the other direction here. And when I repeat, I create a pattern. It just gets a little bit more interesting that way. Gives people's eyes a little treat to look at. And there's my mug. And I would probably think about what color. Do I want it to be coffee, or do I want it to be hot cocoa, or even milk? And I made my steam. And then I'm going to think about patterns on my tablecloth. Maybe I'll make flowers. Maybe it's a flower tablecloth. There we go. Flower tablecloth. I could add some little ones too. See, I'm changing it up for my snowflakes. Although you could make snowflakes if you like. There we go. Maybe one tiny one here. See, anytime I repeat a pattern, I kind of get so into it, I cannot stop. So I do it in different sizes. Like this. Off we go. Off we go. I think I have enough flowers. And maybe for the background, I don't know, I might just make, what could I do? I don't want it to be too busy, and I don't want it to be flowers. Maybe I'll make I'm gonna make some big dots. unusual. It might almost camouflage it because it may be so much the same as the circles at the center. So maybe I say, how can I change that? Maybe I'll add some lines. Okay, now I'm getting carried away with my patterning. And maybe I got too busy with mine. Sometimes that happens, but we have to experiment, right? Otherwise, we don't grow as artists. We want to know. All right, still pretty interesting. A little busy, but interesting. So that's how I would make my mug. So I'm going to show you again the shape. And you can think about how to get started on yours. So it goes like this. We decide how wide do we want our mug. So we draw our 2 lines down. Now if we make it flat, then our mug looks flat. We don't have a flat mug, we have a rounded mug. So that's a cylinder. And when we look at a cylinder, like here's my fruit cup, when we look at it on its side, we can see a little bit into the top. So we want to curve that line. Go ahead and look at a cup or a mug. We see it curving if we hold it a little sideways. And then we can see all the way around to the back. That way we can see what's inside. So I see I want mine to be a little bit longer. And now I curve the same way. Curve the same way. You can make it a fancy teacup with a fancy handle. Or you can make it a regular one. You can make it steamy. Lots of steam coming off of this. You could add those marshmallows. And maybe instead of a design, you want to write a message. Like you might want to say, morning, or you want to draw a heart on it. That's cute too. And then you can draw your background. Maybe you want to put your energy into your patterning on your tablecloth. There we go. There we go. See how I didn't go all the way through because it's sitting on top of it. There we go. And the last time I got super busy up above. Maybe I'm going to stick with just a solid color for this one. You can decide on yours, and don't forget your name. I usually put mine in the bottom so it doesn't distract too much from my picture. Okay, so keep an eye out for my finished one. Thank you.